In this segment, we are truly honored to welcome His Excellency, the Ambassador of India to Lebanon, Mohammed Noor Rahman al-Sheikh, as the esteemed representative of a nation known for its rich heritage and global influence. He joins us to shed light on the deepening relationship between India and Lebanon, along with India's recent humanitarian contributions to support Lebanon. Ambassador, thank you for joining us today and sharing your perspective with our audience. Welcome to Mariam TV.
Thank
it's our
you.
pleasure to have you today.
Thank you very much for having me here.
Welcome. Let's start with an overview of the relationship between India and Lebanon. As two countries, as we all know, with rich histories, how would you describe the current state of diplomatic and maybe economic relationships?
Yes, India and Lebanon established their diplomatic ties in 1954.
True.
So this year actually is the 70th year of this,
We want to congratulate you
thank you
on
very
that.
much, and to you also. And in these last 70 years, a lot of things have happened between the countries, which has strengthened the ties, in all aspects, political, economic, cultural, technological, capacity building, and various other defense and various other aspects of the ties. And we are very happy to see, the interest that both the leadership of both countries have, the peoples of both countries have about each other, in fact, last year in November, the industry minister, His Excellency Mr. Josh Buchakian, visited India, and that was a visit at the ministerial level which happened after 25 years. So, I was happy that I was able to kind of, anchor that visit. I've been here for the last 14 months or so, and I have seen that there's a lot of warmth in this relationship, and also in trade, a lot of things are happening.
Agriculture as well.
Yes, of course, and this the bilateral trade between India and Lebanon is about $600 million, which is quite good, I would say, and it's growing quite, in a good pace. And in terms of various other aspects of the ties, it's all going in. We support each other in the multilateral fora, in UN, and various other elections. We have a lot of understanding. Our battalion in UNIFIL has been there for the last 26 years. Since November 1998, our battalion of about 900 personnel are, in UNIFIL in South Lebanon. They have very close ties with the local population. And we have about 3,000 Indians who are here in Lebanon, who are part of the Lebanese society, I would say. And so in a way, we are very happy to see there are a lot of exchanges, for capacity building, a lot of training programs.
It's truly a rich relationship between the two countries. Before moving to our topics, let's talk about your experience in Lebanon, Your Excellency. You've been in office since 2023. You'll be celebrating your 1-year anniversary in a few months, if we can say. Let me know, how was your experience so far in Lebanon and with the Lebanese people in specific?
In fact, I have just completed 1 year. I came on 2nd August 2023. So I'm now like 1 year and almost 3 months here. And in the first 2 months before the unfortunate breakout of the conflict, which is now ongoing for a year, a little over a year. So in those 2 months, I traveled and covered almost the country from north to south to the part of east and others. And particularly because our battalion is there in UNIFIL Iblisaki, so I traveled 5-6 times there. And I met a lot of people. I went to Shuf, I went to Bisari, I went to Tripoli, to Baalbek, I went to Saida, Byblos, Batroun. I mean, I tried to cover most of the places. And what I have felt is that people of Lebanon considers India to be very friendly, a very close partnering country, which is a similar case in India as well. We consider Lebanon to be a very close friend of ours.
Especially that both countries, both societies in specific values family and hospitality. I'm sure you've experienced high hospitality here in Lebanon, because Lebanese people like to welcome and like to treat others as if they're one of the own society.
Of course, this is the whole thing, the whole point of it. In India also we have this concept, we call it Atiti Deva Bhava,
Yeah.
which is basically, guests are gods. Guests are like gods.
Yes.
I have the similar feeling that here, which I received here. So people in Lebanon have been, very welcoming, very friendly, and things like that. Yes.
True. India has a rich history supporting Lebanon,
Yes.
including through peacekeeping in southern Lebanon and emergencies. And if we want to talk in specific about this topic, India has recently delivered a significant aid, humanitarian aid to Lebanon following previous assistance, such as aid in Beirut blast, the tragic Beirut blast in 2020. Can you share, Your Excellency, the details of this latest assistance and what did it include?
Yes, we have just sent in about 33 tons of medicines from India.
Yeah.
And out of it, about half have already arrived here, or 2/3 have already arrived here, and we are expecting the remaining 1/3 also to arrive soon. And last week, on Thursday, we had a small function in BL, in the warehouse where the medicines are kept, where the health minister, His Excellency Dr. Firas Abiyat was there. He received those medicines in our presence, where he graciously accepted it. And we are also happy that those medicines would be entered into a particular inventory, and it will be tracked to the last beneficiary, where it is going. So I think it's a very good step in terms of trust and transparency.
Of course.
And how it happened was when this medical needs were projected. In some of our meetings with the health minister, so I asked him, what are the kind of medicines that the country would require. So we sought a list from the health ministry.
What are the specific
this
needs
is like
of these medications?
Yeah, it's a variety of medicines, I would say. It includes from simpler formulations to the complex ones.
Yes.
So it has something like as simple as antibiotics and analgesics and things like that, to something like for the cancer patients.
Yeah.
So it's a high range of of medicines for cholesterol issues, for heart issues, for so basically for which can be used for on a day-to-day basis, over-the-counter kind of thing, to those given through the prescriptions for more serious kind of ailments. So we are looking at overall requirements of the health ministry.
Yes.
And that is how we decided, because as a country of our standing, we always feel that we are part of the global south,
and there is a need of different types of medications.
Exactly. And then we felt that it is our kind of responsibility to partner with Lebanon, and we put in chip in wherever it's required. That's why this whole thing came in. Yes.
Yes. I want to start from this point. Can we say that the aid, the assistance, is the start of an ongoing partnership in healthcare? And are there any plans for collaborations in this field, in specific healthcare?
Yes, for sure. In fact, a few months before, there was a visit organized in India for friendly and close countries to introduce the Indian Indian medicines. And so India has certain thing known as Indian Pharmacopoeia, which is basically a compilation of the medicines which are actually manufactured in India.
Yes.
And there are the generic medicines in India is also a popular flavor of these days. So two senior officials from Health Ministry were invited to India. We hosted them, and they were taken to various manufacturing units and things like that. So we are looking at bigger push of Indian medicines also because what we felt is that the cost is very affordable, but the quality is world class. The Indian medicines, for example.
Yes.
So we are looking at that kind of collaboration. Yes, also.
Yes, Your Excellency, are there any upcoming events or initiatives that the Indian Embassy in Lebanon is planning to enhance maybe the cultural and economic connections between the two countries? Like moving forward from medical and healthcare, let's talk about the cultural and economic ties, relationships.
Sure. Yes, I mentioned, the bilateral trade between India and Lebanon is about $600 million. Yeah. We feel that this scope, there is a lot of scope to further enhance this volume. It can cross $2 to $3 billion in a short span of time, because a lot of things that come into Lebanon are available in India. A lot of things that Lebanon produces can be actually exported to India.
True.
You know,
True.
for example, if you talk of the olives, you talk about the fruits, you talk about the nice apples and cherries. You talk about the wines. You talk about so many things which are actually manufactured here and which are looking for a market. India is a huge market for that. India itself is like has a population of 1.44 billion people. So it itself is a very large market. It has market of various types. Like so both in terms of import and export of things, I think it's a huge scope over there. There are certain companies which are working very closely between these two countries. There are Dar al Handasa companies there, Abu Khatir is there. Then you have Khatib al Alami company, and there are some of these companies have about 2,000 to 3,000 engineers and designers in their workforce in India. For example, they set up their points there. Something like that. And then there were even plans, say company like the food chain Jaitar. Jaitar is opening their branches in Mumbai.
True.
They are starting with about.
This was a new announcement.
Yes, so it's about 7 outlets are coming up in Mumbai. And they are exploring for opening in other cities in India as well. And of course the Lebanese food, the Lebanese culture are also very popular in India.
What do you think about Lebanese food? Speaking about that,
it's very nice. I mean, I keep saying that whatever items are available, it reminds me of my childhood days. I come from a small state in India, we call it Manipur, which is more like Lebanon, I would say.
Is there any similarities?
In terms, of course, in terms of the food, that's not in terms of the names, but in terms of the
flavors.
Flavors. It's very similar actually.
Yeah.
And then I think that there's a lot of scope for improving this ties. So you have this cultural ties. For example, the yoga. Yoga is very popular in Lebanon as well. Yeah. So the whole month of June, we organized about 8 yoga events throughout the country. We did it in Tripoli, Byblos, Baalbek, in the ruins. We did it in Iblisaki, Nakura, Souf.
And you even celebrate Indian festivals in Lebanon to shed light on your culture, on your society.
We do that. So so we are very happy to tie up with all these partners basically.
Yes.
So there are 30 studios here who are doing yoga classes. Then we have in the university we conduct our dance classes and yoga classes which are for free. So any Lebanese national can come in and join our classes for free. For example, of course nowadays we are doing it an online kind of thing, but it's
given the situation.
So things like that. So there's a lot of scope, in all aspects of it. I think, and this is already of course we're all hoping that the situation becomes better and things become normalized. And I think the scope for improving these ties will to further strengthen remains. Yes.
Yeah.
Course, yes.
If we can speak about the current situation before continuing, what's your point of view on that, on what's Lebanon's going through now?
See, there is we have supported the ending of the hostilities, ending of the immediate ceasefire. Yeah. And then peace and stability should come in. We support for election of a president, and then of course that is where we supported a BRICS summit statement in Kazan in Russia last week, which called for ending this conflict through diplomatic means. And we also participated in the Paris conference on Lebanon, last on 24th of October last week. So we gave our commitment to supporting this process to bring in peace, and that is where our the Indian battalion in UNIFIL is one of the 49 countries which are represented there, and ours is one of the largest contingents. And we are very clear that we will be there. We are here. We have been there for the last so many years.
And you should that.
Yes, and support. Support in the peace building process.
Yes.
And then we are very proud of the our army personnel and officers there in UNIFIL, and because the connect they have with the local people, we also do a lot of quick impact projects, certain setting up say generator sets in required public facilities or sports complexes, or making parks, doing medical and veterinary camps and things like that. We keep doing those kind of events also, and which actually has kind of bonded our battalion and of course the government of India and India with the local population.
True.
In a very
I want to speak about
way.
that point, Your Excellency, how such humanitarian initiatives and activities,
Yes.
in your opinion, pave the way for stronger diplomatic and cultural ties between the two countries, between India and Lebanon?
Certainly, certainly, you know, because this all go hand in hand, you know. When you, for example, when you decided to bring in this humanitarian aid of these medicines this time, so this was not the first time that we brought in here.
Yeah.
You know, we did it during the COVID times, we did it during the, you know, Beirut port blast times. We have been doing, you know, quick impact projects for so many years. We send, you know, a lot of we invite a lot of Lebanese officials to go for training programs, which are now, you know, kind of including non-officials also, you know, from media and from, you know, NGOs and others to go and their training course, travel, everything is covered in this by the government of India, you know.
Yeah.
So things like that. So and then whenever those things take place, it is observed and people see. This is what we understand, and then it becomes easy for
it is touchable,
for the diplomatic maneuvers also. I mean, I would say not strengthening the diplomatic ties, you know, between the two countries. It certainly helps.
In summary, we can say that the Lebanese, the Indian embassy was for the Lebanese people in peace and in conflict,
of course.
and we thank you. We truly thank you for that. To conclude, your ambassador, I want to ask you. Lebanon is going through challenging times, as we all know. Do you have a message, a specific message that you would like to convey for the Lebanese people through our platform, through Mariam TV? You know?
Sure.
Yeah.
In fact, I like to, you know, reaffirm that, you know, India stands with the people and government of Lebanon in these times of in these times, and in henceforth also will always remain with the people and government of Lebanon. We hope that the, you know, conflict ends as soon as possible, or immediate end of the conflict, and ceasefire is brought in. I mean, Lebanon is such a, you know, it's a country with so much potential to grow, you know, and people are so resilient. So we would be happy to partner with the people of Lebanon for its full potential to be realized. As far as humanitarian aid is concerned, we'll continue to support whenever is required. We are expecting another consignment of foodstuffs also to come in here, so that we can get it distributed to the needy and people here and others who are displaced particularly. And we wish all the best for this country of Lebanon, and we hope that the peace and stability returns to it, and then India and Lebanon's relationship again gets strengthened as the time comes.
Amen. And we wish the best for the ties, for the relationships, for the bilateral ties between India and Lebanon. I want to thank you, Ambassador of India to Lebanon, Muhammad Rahman Sheikh, for being among us today. Thank you for sharing your insights with us, and a big thanks actually for India's support to Lebanon. It's heartwarming actually to witness the friendship and the cooperation on all levels between the two countries, the Indian country and the Lebanese society, and we look forward actually to see this relationship grow even stronger in the future, and we are all hope on that. Thank you for being with us, being among us today. It was truly a pleasure to have you, Your Excellency.
It's a pleasure.
Welcome. مشاهدينا نحن رح نكون مع فاصل ونرجع.